Welcome from my another series web development, full stack web development. Today I would like to show you how to develop the full stack web applications using Vue.js for front end, and for the back end we will use Node.js Express and MySQL database. So here in this tutorial, I would like to show you to develop these applications, like example applications that involve full stacks functionalities. So here this has one button. One button. If we click this button, we will get the data from the back end. This back end connect to the database, that is MySQL. So this is the front end applications after we select back end and front end. This is full stacks already development. So we will fetch the data from database. We have one tracking log tables for like in the database. So the data is tracking status, tracking number, tracking status, and we store the locations. We store the updated date and create the date, and also there are many data. So we try to build these applications. Yesterday, in my previous video, I already show how we set up our backend framework using Node.js, Express, and MySQL. So we already set up successfully our backend. Today, I will show you how to set up the very basic steps, even to set up the front end part, right? Then we will connect back end and front end for developing full applications, right? So today I will show you how to set up front end Vue framework. Vue is JavaScript based framework. This is very nice frameworks. Okay. So let's start our tutorials and tutorials with practice. This is easy step-by-step experiments. So today I will we have to select front end part, right? Yes, in my previous video I already select back end. So I will continue in this project folder, right? For our front end. You can try by yourself, right? So let me open the Visual Studio Code. In my previous video we have developed backend and we have database connections. This is connections credentials, and this one we have one API route, right? In our previous video I explained we have one query to retrieve the data from the database, and these results, this is like JSON format results, are sent back to the front end. So today our responsibility is to build and select our front-end framework. That way we use Vue.js, and then we will get the data from front-end to back-end and show the user as the application's UI. Okay, and this one env file. This is our server file, right? Express calls, and here this is call to API route. Okay, we will not talk too much, already talked in my previous video, and so today we will start for the front end part. So I will stop executing and go to this folder, right? Full stack web dev. This is main folder. So in this folder we will build our front end project, front end part settings. So what is how we have to select for front end? Let's go. So this is we have to select front end part. We will use Vue CLI. If you do not have install Vue, we will install Vue CLI command very stable. This command we install Vue CLI command line tools. Okay, we can install here. We don't need to go any command, right? Okay, if you want to install just this one and enter. Let's see. We trying to install our Vue CLI. This is a necessary package. and it takes a while to install these all the packages for Vue. Okay, we can see when we are waiting, we can go to Vue.js. Yeah, this is the official Vue.js website. You can learn. If you want to know about this framework, you can go to this website. But I will show you how to set as our experiment is still waiting. I think while we are waiting, if you watch my video, you can skip this part and I will add timestamps for the initial steps. This takes a while and we have to wait because this is the whole package. Okay, yeah, that's why it takes time. It has 840 packages in 5 minutes. Okay, after we install Vue CLI, and next we will create our front-end applications, like the name is front end. This is folder name, and we will use this command view create. This is you can give any other folder name, but I will give front end, right? We will create view application. So you run this, we create our view applications, and let's see what they pop up. Okay, here you have to select Vue 2 or Vue 3. So I will use Vue 3 and enter. Okay, our project is creating. This take a while. This is the status for Vue.js front-end framework. Okay, it takes a while. You can select the all 88 packages and audit that 970 packages in 47 seconds. Okay, so after we select our front-end projects, Vue.js framework, we can test this front-end setup is okay or not before we write our application's code, right? So we go to the folder. Okay, after setup, we can test this Vue setup is okay or not. So we will navigate to this folder and we run this command. So we go to front-end folder, just our front-end project file. Okay, if you want to run, please remember the front-end command. Front-end framework is npm run start. This is local. Okay, if everything is okay, the front-end UI is running on localhost. Okay, starting deployment server. This is front-end part, right? Do not mix backend. Okay, how we see the UI here, you can go control click. I will close this. This is website. I will close everything that make sure here. So our front-end project is running localhost 8080. This is the original Vue website. Welcome to Vue. If you see this screen, so your front-end project setup is okay, so you can do next. You can write your own applications code to call the backend, front-end, write necessary functions in Vue templates. Okay, so the project setup is okay. So we will start writing our code applications to check to build full stack applications. So our front-end setup is okay. Then next, so in this part is we have to create Vue templates. This is the based on our application functions, right? Like registration, login, or other applications. Anything you can put it in this framework. So after setting as, we have to create Vue template for applications. So before we create uh, we need to install Axios for API call. So we will install this necessary package, right? Then we will write code continuously. So we stop this operation and we want to install this one because in this front end we will use this Axios package to call the API routes. If you reach the error to install the necessary package, you just install, right? And look the official websites and the necessary dependency and packages. Then we can write our own applications code after this CDFs. Okay, we already installed. So we will write our first component. Let me show you after we select front-end part how we can validate. Yeah, we have front-end folder and node module they install after we select Vue CLI and require create Node.js public and you will see SRC folder, right? And under the SRC folder, here you have components folder. In component, this is the original one. When we run, you see this one. Wow, on the API, this one is hello. This component we call Vue components and app.vue. This is the original one and main.js. We don't have to do anything. After we select, we can see this thing automatically here. Install Vue and plus in this the hello web view is called here app.vue. This is the main page. Look like he called this template, import this view, right? Import hello world.view, and he called components. And this part is style CSS, the design. In Vue, we had normally three parts. The first part, template, and HTML part. And the second one is script, like we will write the functions and data variable, anything is the script, JavaScript. And also the third part is style CSS code putting. Only in this component we can put HTML, UI, user interface, and script. This is the main functions to do applications and the CSS file. Okay, so this is the original one, template and script and style code, right? Every component is three parts, very easy and very fit in one component. So we will create our own component, right? We will build our own application. So we will create example applications, like we want to connect backend database data, and then to show that database process to the front end for our existing database. Okay, so we will create a component, right? Another SRC folder and text API.view. The name you can give any other name, your application's name, and this component is called from Vue. So let's create our own component. This is your application, right? I will give text API.view because in this tutorial I will show you how to select front and back and how applications work. No? So in here, after you create .view component, you will put your code here. So I prepare, for example, tracking log viewer. Here, template, script part is we will show the data and we will get back data from the back end. Okay, let me copy first. I will explain later and other CSS part. I will show you this example template. This is our component applications. What this component do is hire template parts, template user interface, and I will want to build applications tracking log viewers, and we will see how many tracks data in the database, and we will have a one button, right? Button and click event. When user click button, it will fetch the data from the database by to the front end. Okay, fetch and data, and this one functions, and if you go, this function is here. Under the method section, we write this function, right? If you deploy your own applications, you will write your own functions under this method section. And this button call this function, right? I click event. So what this function do? It call action. We use this package dependency. That's why we have to install and get method. And this one is backend API URL. This is our API. You know, last video we created our backend API. That API calls to the database. Let me show you here, sample.js. This API go to database query, and so we query the data from the database, and this process back to the front ends. That is why our front end components, when click a button, it fetch the data, go to API. Then here the API result is come from this data. This data is array. We have to declare this array and other variable we declare in the data part, right? So this is the data we return received in this array format. And then this dot data here we have to verify and declare here and accept the data. And that's it. This data will show in the UI. You have to format, otherwise the result is like JSON format. It is not user friendly, right? So we have to format with HTML. We have UL list. I will show you list style. You can do any other HTML style, like we can show with the table format or list format, anything. This is the formatting the data, the backend data resets like a table or list or other format, right? So we use HTML tag here in this template. So this is if the data from the back end, otherwise it will not show this block, right? So we use for loop the data. This is the result, and then we will show tracking state that this is the level, this is the result from the database location and date. Okay, right? This is the view component to show in the UI. This one the actions, one button click event. We have one data array that will receive the data from the backend and the methods call to the backend API, and then the API result will receive this one. Okay, here the API is here. Here will rest.json. This result will receive here, right? It's everything's okay. Data will be here, and the data will show as the legs in the UI. And this part is we format CSS code. Okay, 3 parts. This is our component. Okay, after you create this component, we have to call to run this component from app.views. So like that, before we call hello world, right? And I want to call our test API component. API, your component name, right? And then select dash. We want to call this API, this view component to run. And you use this import statement in script to call this component working. Yeah, this is the component name, test API, and you have to select test API dot view. Oh, sorry, view test API dot view. Okay, if we have error, we can debug. No worry. So I will comment this now. We will not see hello world page. We want to see our application pages. So we call the component name test API here, right? This is our component. We will not see hello world page. This one image. Okay, we can leave it here. Our NEDS. Okay, this is CSS. No need and save. Okay. And later, if you have big project, right, you have many components, login component, registration components, and tracking status component, right? If you have many components later, we will use router to route these many pages, right? In our web, we have a lot of pages and we will use Vue router. But in this tutorial, we will not use Vue router yet. This Vue router is good for routing one page to another. This is another step. So just in this tutorial, I will show how we select front end and back end very simple, and we call this front end from app.view. So after creating the required components for our full stack application, yes, it is time to run our web applications. So to run, we have to run two terminals, right? Two times we need to run back and port and front and paths, right? Okay, so let's test. I will show you trying to back end part, right? Oh, also don't forget you need to check your database connect, right? MySQL, I just connect that. So MySQL reference, you connect your password, right? We want to show the data from this table. This data, right? Okay. Because you know the error is here because we import hello world component that we didn't use. That's why it shows Here, so we just comment this part, right? Okay, our front-end part is running. Yeah, you see, this is back-end and this one front-end. Okay, let us see our front-end part. You click. I will close now. Yay, our UI is coming here. Our application is running on localhost 8080. Here, this is our user interface. Track text API. This one, tracking log viewer. In fact, we will have one button. Let's test it. You know, when you click this button, the data will be fetched from the database, right? Okay, just click. Yay, our application is working well here. We show tracking, status, location, and we have two records in the database. That's it. Today, this is a full step how we connect the front end and back end, the data from the back end, and the data is in the database. So let me wrap up our tech steps. So in our backend part, we use Node.js server, right? And this server go to the database API route REST API, we call the data from database, and then these results are sent to the front end. So the front end, how we connect front end is we have action, right? But when we click this button work these functions and go to this API. If you deploy your project, right, this URL will be the deploy URL. Don't forget to update this, right? Because this is we are running in localhost testing mode. So localhost 3000. This is backend API. So we connect front end and backend in this run. And this is the response from the backend. Rest.data go to this data variable array, and this data is shown to the front end here. Okay, I think that is enough to develop this project. I think based on this framework, we can build the real world projects, and we deploy. Later we add, if you have many component, we just need to add here component, right? Like for example, if we want to add login login.view, so you write login logic in this view component, right? And also registration, you can add many components, and when if you want to test this login component work or not, you just call. Right now you can call your component here, you add a new component, you import, right, and then call it here. This is very simple to test your component is work. Later we can use Vue router to route this component. If we have many pages, we can use Vue router. Okay, thank you. I think today's tutorial is enough, and next time I will try to build the real world application example, because this is the basis. We already know how to set up back end, how to set up front end part, and then how we write the component. Later I will show you the real world examples, because I am also developing Vue.js in my projects, in my works. So really interesting and I love it. Thank you for watching.